What is up, Insaners? How are you guys doing? It's been such a crazy season so far. We've got news about the upcoming double game weeks, and we'll be discussing the teams who have a double game week along with their upcoming fixtures in this episode. We'll also talk about some of the best picks that you can go for from these teams. Make sure you watch the video till the end. This is really going to help you get the best possible rank in the upcoming weeks. In case you want to know about specific teams and players, we have given the timestamps in the description below. Those should help you with all the relevant sections. Do give a thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe to our channel Insanely Football if you're liking our FPL content, and don't forget to hit the bell icon if you want to get notified of our coming videos. Lots to cover in this one, so let's get started. Surely by now most of you know what a double game week is. Just a small refresher before we get into the details. A double game week is a week where some of the teams have two fixtures, meaning that they play twice in the same FPL game week. We recently got the news that a few teams have a double game week in game week 24, so the game week after this one is a double game week. Let's look at the teams who have a double game week in 24. Now Burnley was already playing Crystal Palace away, and now they have a home fixture against Fulham, which is the second fixture of the week. This means that Fulham will have a double game week with their new fixture against Burnley away, along with their already scheduled fixture against Everton, which is also away. Everton also have a double game week where they play Fulham and their new fixture against Man City. Man City is the final team to have a double game week in game week 24, with matches against Tottenham as planned and the new fixture against Everton. Now it might get a bit confusing, but to summarize, Burnley, Fulham, Everton and Man City have a double game week in game week 24. Now we also got news of a double game week in game week 25. Leeds United and Southampton are two teams having a double game week in game week 25. Let's have a look at their fixtures. Leeds United start the week with a game against Wolves away, then it's a newly scheduled fixture against Southampton at home. This means that Southampton also have two games in the week, playing Chelsea and Leeds United. To summarize here as well, Leeds United and Southampton have a double game week in game week 25. Now that we've looked at the double game week fixtures, let's talk about these teams individually. We've gone ahead with the obvious and the most impressive team in the list, Man City. They have two favourable fixtures in Tottenham at home and Everton away. Both their opponents are in the top half of the table and they might pose some challenge, but City look too good right now. They've kept 13 clean sheets in total, out of which 11 have come in their last 13 games. They've not conceded a goal in their last 6 matches and are currently top of the league with a 3-point advantage and a game in hand. They're definitely not scoring the same amount of goals as compared to last season, but look the best team in the league defensively. Their next game is against Liverpool, and they don't have the easiest games ahead, but with the form that they're in, surely citizens will fancy their chances. Let's look at some of the options you could go for, starting with their defense. There are three standout options in terms of defense. Ruben Dias and John Stones are at the center of defense. They both have formed a great partnership at the back, securing 10 clean sheets in the 11 games they've played together. A lot of managers might think Ruben Dias is probably just a bit more nailed on than Stones, but is also 0.8 million more expensive in price at the time of recording this video. Laporte has also returned, making it a bit tricky for FPL managers to guess what Pep is going to do, but considering how important Pep considers the Diaz-Stones partnership, one of these two is a must-have in your team. Another defender that has hugely impressed this season is Joao Cancelo. He's way more attacking than the centre-back duo. Overall, he has been unlucky not to get more attacking returns. He got that 17-point haul though against West Brom, and it was just amazing. The best thing about him has been his positioning so far this season. He has been all over the pitch, playing in midfield, coming inside, even playing as a number 10 on a few occasions. He has 13 bonus points so far this season, only one behind Gundogan, showing how well he's performed in all the games so far. One slight issue with him, which is the case with most of the City players, is the risk of rotation. Pep considers him really important and has been speaking about him highly in the media, and there are chances that Pep might bench him or even manage his minutes considering what impact he's had on the City squad. A double up in defense surely looks good for the double game week, with Diaz and Cancelo being the best premium options. If you don't have the budget, downgrading Diaz to Stones looks good, or else, if you're not doubling up, then Cancelo surely is the most attacking option to go for, followed by Diaz. City have a couple of decent options in midfield as well, with Ilkay Gundogan and Raheem Sterling. There's a huge difference in price between the two. Sterling is a premium midfielder priced at around 11.5 million, whereas Gundogan is a budget option touching the 6 million range. Gundogan surely has been the pick of the two. He has the highest goal attempts among City midfielders in the last 5 game weeks, scoring 4 goals and providing 3 assists. Sterling on the other hand has 3 goals and 1 assist during the same time. Gundogan has also created 14 chances as compared to Sterling's 5. He's playing a more advanced role since a while now, getting into the box and creating all sorts of difficulties for the opposition defense. He's also shown the ability to drop deep sometimes and play balls for the likes of Sterling, Mahrez, Foden and Jesus to attack. At that value, it is definitely a no-brainer to own him. he's more likely to start every game as compared to Sterling, something that we've seen in the past few games. So if you already own him, surely keep him in your team for the double game week. If you don't, it's definitely a wise move to get him ahead of game week 24. Also, that does not mean Sterling is not a good pick, it's just that at his price, you'll have the likes of Bruno Fernandes who has shown more value with his attacking returns. If you want to take a bit of a risk, getting Sterling is a good option, and especially if you want to replace the likes of Son or Salah in your team. Sterling is comparatively less owned in the game, around 12%, and he could be a good differential punt for game week 24. Another option that you could go for in City's attack is Gabriel Jesus. Jesus has come into his own in the past couple of game weeks. 2 of his total 4 goals this season have come in the last 2 game weeks. He's the 3rd highest scoring forward in the last 5 game weeks, only behind the likes of Antonio and Wilson. One of the issues with Jesus though is his price. He's priced at 9.2 million, and there are a lot of cheaper options available who have a higher value than the Man City forward. On top of that, Aguero is recovering from COVID and might feature in one, if not both games in game week 24. That means his minutes might be managed, making Jesus a risky proposition. Lots of unknowns there, but in terms of a differential forward, he surely is an option for the double game week. Coming to the second team from the double game week is Sean Dyche's Burnley. The Clarets have had a couple of great results in the past few weeks, with a surprising 1-0 win against the current Premier League champions Liverpool and a great comeback win against the impressive Aston Villa side. They looked out of ideas and really flat against Chelsea and Man City, and Sean Dyche would surely have to improve things if he plans to take Burnley further away from the relegation battle. They face Crystal Palace, who might be without Zaha, and a Fulham side who are in 18th place right now, 8 points behind them. They have no doubt had a tough run of fixtures, but there are higher chances that they can get results against the double game week opponents. Now let's look at some of the options worth going for from the Burnley side. Our first option is the Burnley keeper, Nick Pope. He would surely be one of the most popular transfers from now till game week 23. The stopper is only 7 points behind Martinez and ranked second in terms of FPL points amongst the goalkeepers this season. He's made 33 saves in the last 5 game weeks alone, keeping 1 clean sheet in the process against the mighty Liverpool. In spite of his price, which is a bit higher as compared to the likes of Martinez and McCarthy, he's the 3rd most owned keeper right now. Crystal Palace and Fulham might not be the games where he'll be required to make too many saves, but there's still a good chance of clean sheets in both games, making him the most attractive keeper option among the double game week teams in game week 24. There's also a high possibility of him getting points in the West Brom game in the week after. If you have some additional funds that you can spare and are looking for a keeper change, he's surely one to have for the coming game weeks. In case you're happy with your keeper and don't want to spend additional money and a transfer in getting Nick Pope in, you could also look at the Burnley defense. In spite of some cheaper options available in Loughton, Peters or the currently injured Taylor, there are 2 standout picks in the Burnley defense, Ben Mee and James Tarkowski. Both of them have been playing in the heart of Burnley defense for quite some time this season and can be decent options if you're looking for that additional attacking return. Burnley rely a lot on set pieces, considering the physical presence of both their centre-backs. Both of them are owned by only around 1 to 2% FPL managers and should start both games if they're not injured. This makes them really good differential picks for the double game week. Imagine if they get a clean sheet or an attacking return in any of those, that could do wonders to your overall rank. These are the 3 picks from Burnley. We have not gone for any midfielders as there are no standout picks and a couple of forwards are carrying knocks, making them less desirable for the coming game weeks. The next team that we're covering in this list is Everton. It's been an up and down season so far for Everton. They have 2 wins from their last 5 Premier League matches and currently sit in 7th place, equal on points with Chelsea, with 2 games in hand over most of their rivals including Liverpool. They started the season very brightly, getting some good results, but went on a rough patch and now are looking a bit better. They're playing Man City and Fulham in their double game week fixtures. Everton don't have the easiest of fixtures, playing Man United in their next game and Liverpool and Chelsea in 2 of their 3 games after the double game week. So overall not the ideal fixtures, but let's look at a couple of options from the Toffees. Our first pick is the Evertonian defender Lucas Digne. He started the season with a huge double-digit haul against Tottenham before getting an injury post the Fulham game. Now he's back in the Everton side and is playing a bit more advanced depending on the strength of their opposition. He has already got 7 assists this season, that takes him just 1 behind Cresswell, who's leading in terms of assists among defenders. Now one thing to note here is that Lucas Digne achieved this number playing only 12 games this season. That's far lesser than the West Ham fullback. He's a great option against Fulham, but might struggle in the game against Man City and he'll have to do a lot of defending. One thing that puts us off is his price though. He's priced at 6.1 million right now, almost equal in price with the City defenders, who provide that sense of assurance, especially when it comes to the clean sheets. He's also priced higher than Man United defenders who have done well in their recent games. Everton have managed to keep only 4 clean sheets all season, and spending this much money on someone solely for the attacking return might put off a lot of managers. The second option we've gone ahead from Everton is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's played a key role in helping Everton push for a top 4 spot this season, with his early goal scoring form setting him apart from other competition for this season's Golden Boot. However, the Toffee's slight dip in form also saw the forward's goal tally dry up after an electric start before he suffered a hamstring injury in January. Now, after ending his goal drought against Leeds, Calvert-Lewin will be looking to add to his tally of 12 goals in the league. He's also not an essential pick by any means, but the match against Fulham looks just too good for him. Man City would be a struggle, but they also face Southampton, who are going through a tough time, and they're surely there for the taking. His chances of scoring get a lot better after the Chelsea game, and a lot of managers would look to surely get him then, if not now. These are the only two picks from Everton. James Rodriguez is a close third, but he didn't feature against Leeds, so he's surely not fixture-proof. Richarlison is also a good player, but he hasn't been great in FPL terms, with no returns in his last few games. Surely not an option going forward. The last team that has a double game week in game week 24 is Fulham. They're struggling in the relegation zone with only 2 wins from their 21 games so far this season. Scott Parker's side showed some improvement recently, but have lost 3 of their last 5 games and are 8 points from safety. They have some favourable fixtures coming up with Sheffield United and Crystal Palace. Before that, they play a huge must-win game against Burnley. The other game that they're playing is against Everton. It's not that Fulham is not capable of winning these games, it's just that they don't have a lot to offer in terms of FPL options. There's only one player that is worth looking here, Ademola Lookman. The loanee from Leipzig has been Fulham's best player of the season, scoring 3 goals and 3 assists. In the last 5 game weeks, he's managed to score a goal along with an assist. He also has 12 goal attempts and has created 11 chances for his Fulham teammates to finish. In terms of a creative threat, he's among the top 10 midfielders and is very nicely placed at 5 million. He will surely be involved in both the Fulham games and could be a good option if you want to take a short-term punt. He's also just owned by 1% FPL managers and could be a great bargain for the next few weeks. So these are some of the best picks for teams who play twice in Game Week 24. Now let's look at some options from teams who have a double game week in 25. We'll start with one of the most exciting teams to watch this season, Leeds United. They're one of the most attacking teams in the Premier League this season. Bielsa's style of play with high energy passing, intricate positional interchanging, and perfectly timed overloads, it's quite demanding and has often left them short in defense. You never know what to expect from a Leeds side, and that's what has made them stand out in the Premier League this season. Don't think they are in the danger of collapsing and going out, and would surely look at achieving at least a top half finish at the end. Leeds United have decent fixtures in their double game week, playing Wolves and Southampton. Let's look at some of the players who would surely be crucial to their success. We start with Stuart Dallas, who has been Leeds' best attacking defender. So much so that Bielsa has often depended on him to provide in the midfield. He's among the top 10 defenders for FPL points this season. He scored a total of 4 goals and 2 assists this season so far. His numbers have dropped a bit in the last 5 game weeks, but he's still a great potential going forward. His value is what makes him even more desirable. He's priced at only 4.8 million and can easily slot in any FPL team without a lot of hassle. He's also a good option to have in case any of your defenders or midfielders are benched and don't start the game. Right now he's owned by 14% FPL managers, but his ownership is surely going to increase in the coming game weeks. The double game week also holds a lot of promise for the Leeds defender, who can get some decent attacking returns for FPL managers. Our second option is the Leeds wide midfielder Rafinha. He has established himself as a regular starter, scoring 4 goals and providing 4 assists for his Leeds United teammates this season. In his last 5 games, he has scored 31 points with 2 goals and 2 assists to his name, and he doesn't look like stopping. He's also created 6 chances and has a decent expected goal number at 1.33. He is a massive differential, priced at only 5.3 million with only 1% ownership right now. We feel that he definitely has the ability to trouble Wolves and the Southampton makeshift defense with his craft and amazing pace. A lot of FPL managers are going to transfer him to their teams, hoping to do things a bit differently and move away from the set template. Our final Leeds player is their striker, Patrick Bamford. He's already owned by almost 50% managers, and if you don't have him, you should surely look at getting him ahead of Leeds' double game week in game week 25. Bamford is much more than a striker in the Leeds setup. He has got 3 assists in his last 5 game weeks, creating 7 chances for his teammates. He's top in terms of expected assists among all forwards, along with scoring a goal. His price has risen from 5.5 million to almost mid 6 million and might increase further in the coming game weeks. He's also the second highest scoring forward in FPL this season, just behind Kane and ahead of the likes of Vardy and Calvert-Lewin, who are much higher in price than the Leeds forward. Surely a player worth having for the double game week. Southampton is the second team to have a double game week in game week 25. The Saints started the season with a bang, even leading the Premier League table for a very short time, but lost the plot after Vestergaard's injury. They joined bottom of the league in terms of current form with Newcastle, having lost 4 of their last 5 Premier League games in a row. A few tight VAR calls and some referee decisions have made their life difficult in the past games, and they would want to get back to winning ways as soon as possible. They don't have a great double game week playing Chelsea and Leeds United. Chelsea might be difficult, but Leeds United is a good fixture from an attacking point of view, and the defense will have to be on top to prevent Bielsa's team from scoring. So not a lot of options in FPL terms, considering their current form, but if we have to go with someone, it'll surely be Danny Ings. The Saints forward has led the line with 7 goals and 4 assists this season. He has the ability to score against Newcastle, who haven't looked great defensively. In terms of the double game week, Leeds in particular looks like a favourable fixture for Ings, and he'll be expected to do well against a leaky defence. Owned by around 10% FPL managers right now, he's a decent mid-range option priced at around 8.4 million. The fixture in the long term look okay, but it'll take a brave manager to hold him throughout, obviously depending on whether he's able to keep his fitness levels up. So these were some of the best picks for the upcoming double game weeks in game week 24 and 25. In terms of chip strategy, this announcement opens the possibility of doing a bench boost if you still have the option available with you. Double game week for the likes of Burnley, Everton and Leeds means that you can play them in your 11 and drop your single game week players to the bench. So if you feel that you have some players who have a decent game week in game week 24, you can play them on your bench and activate the bench boost chip accordingly. It's not a bad strategy as seen with a few FPL managers to play your single game weekers as a part of your bench boost. You can still go ahead with a wildcard, probably in game week 25, and a bench boost in game week 26, or even work towards 15 players who have doubles in game week 26, that is also fine. There's nothing right or wrong here, and it totally depends on your squad, but these are definitely some of the options looking ahead. A wildcard also comes into the picture earlier for a lot of managers. There would be more blanks and double game weeks ahead, and a lot of FPL managers would be thinking of wildcarding around that time, but this is another option that you could think of. There's no single best time to wildcard answer, and it'll totally depend on your team and overall strategy, so lots to think over there. So that'll be all for today's episode, guys. Hope you would find this useful in planning your team and transfers for the double game week 24 and 25. Do hit the like button if you liked what you saw today. Make sure to subscribe to our channel Insanely Football. Don't forget to lock in your transfers before the deadline this week. It's Saturday this time. All the best to all FPL managers. Enjoy tinkering with your teams, and I'll see you Insaners next time.